Hi, this is Amir, and this is my third video in the series for Word 2007 and 2010. And in this video, I'm gonna go over things like borders and shading, page border, watermark. We're gonna look at headers and footers, how to put different headers on first page and second page, and also how to put a different header on third page. We're gonna talk about inserting breaks. We're going to talk about labels, envelopes. I'm also going to talk about citation, which is one of the new feature in 2007 and 2010. Briefly about table of contents, and I will also introduce you to mail merge, just the initial step, and after that I'm going to point you to one of my videos where I've actually done the whole thing. So with that said, I'm going to start doing a few things. So I'm just going to type my name, just going to do that. So if I want to put an underline below my name, I just click next to it, and right in this section here where it says bottom border, I can click here and choose bottom border, and now I have a bottom border. If I want, I can click on the drop down menu and go to borders and shading option there on the bottom. Now here I can choose the style of my line, I can choose the thickness, I can choose the color, whatever I want it, and then I just have to come here and click here. So you see it got updated here, and I click OK. Now it's added it. If I wanted to put like a box around this line, so I can highlight it, go here, and I can just choose the outside border, and right there it's added. If I want, I can do the same thing. I can go here, go to borders and shading, and I can change it to something else. Click OK. It's changed there. So that's borders, underline, or around it. If I wanted to shade things, I could just highlight it, and there is this bucket here that I can choose to shade things. It will only shape that section, which is different from when I highlight something and I change the font color, or this is where it only highlights just the word. So different ways of shading. You can also have a color on the whole document, and for that there are a couple of ways of doing it. You could go to page layout, and then you can choose page color, and you see it applies to the whole document. This will not print it, it is only there to see. So if you email it to somebody, they can see it, but this will not print. You can also go to fill effects, and you can mix colors up, different kinds, two colors. You can also go to texture, and you can choose different textures. I can go back to page color and say no color. I can also do page borders by using this option here. I'm still under the page layout tab, page borders, and I can choose to have just a box with whatever width thickness I want. Click OK. I can go back to page border. There's an option to add art, and I can add different types of art. Click page border, choose none, click OK to remove it. In the page border, you also have the option whether you want to apply it to whole document or just this section, first page only. Many different options, and I'm going to talk about section breaks in 10-15 minutes where you'll understand it even more. There's also an option to add watermark, and you see the section there called watermark, which is where you have those confidential and do not copy or draft inserted on the background. So if I click here and I choose confidential, so now there is that word confidential in the background. I'll show in the print preview right there. So that's called watermark. I can remove watermark. I'm just going to hit enter a few times so that I will go to page 2. So right now I'm in page 2 because it also saves on the left hand corner there, page 2 of 2. And say I wanted to put a header here and not on the first page. So a couple of ways of doing it. I'm in the print layout view, which is this button here on the bottom, print layout. And so I can just double click on the margin section. And you see it automatically brings me to headers and footer. So say if I type here, I'm just going to type test page 1 and hit tab. It comes to the center. I hit tab again and it goes all the way to the end. And if I want, I can put a page number here. So I'm going to click under page number, current position, and because I wanted to put it where my cursor is, so that's why I go to current position. And I can choose to have a header like this. So it says page 2 of 2. Now I'm just going to scroll up to my first page. And you see whatever I typed on the second page, also the first page header is there. So what I can do is I can click here where it says different first page. Okay. So now there is nothing on page 1 and there is something on page 2. I'm just going to make this page 2. And I'm going to close this. So now this is my second page heading and this is my first page. There is no header there. If I wanted to edit it, I can just double click on it and here I'm back into the editing and I see this special tab there for header and footer for the design element. I can close it. I can also go to insert header or footer. And they've got some option where I can choose like 3 columns so that it already lays out the text for me. So I just have to click here and then type it. Close. So that's header and footer. I'm going to continue hitting enter. Say if I'm like just typing, and I'll go to page 3. Now on page 3, it automatically takes the information for the header from page 2, puts it on page 3, but it changes the page number to page 3, which is good. But say you did not want the same header, you wanted to type something different. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to create a break between page 2 and page 3 so that you are creating a section so that they are separated, so I can now have a different section on page 3 so I can have a better control over it. So to do that, I can go to page layout tab and there is an option there for breaks. I click it and I can choose a next page break or a continuous page break. The next page break, what it does is it takes the information and everything after it will be started on the next page. Continuous means that even if it's on page 2, it will only break the section, but it will continue typing on that page too. So for now, I'm just going to choose next page. Now I've added a section break, but you don't know whether the section break is added because you don't see it. If you wanted to see it, you could go to the Home tab, and then you can click on the Show and Hide button. And there I see my section break. If I wanted to remove it, I just click in front of that line and I hit delete. Now that section break is gone. If I want to add it again, I go to page layout, break, next page break. So now you see it says section break, next page. Now I'm up here and you see the third page header is now empty. So if I want, I can just double click on the margin. I am in the section. Now before I start typing, if you look up here on the right hand side where it says same as previous, if you follow my cursor, now that means that whatever I type here will overwrite the page 2 header. Now if I don't want to do that, I have to break the link, and there is an option here on the top in the ribbons where it says link to previous. So if I click it, now the link is broken. So if I just type here test 3 tab, test 3 tab, whatever I want to do, I can insert a page number, maybe a different kind of a page number. So it says 3 page like that. I'm going to close the header and let's look up here. There is nothing it didn't change. So second page header is different than third page header. Now at this part, if I wanted to add a new sheet, I could even enter it by going to Insert, and I can add a page break, or I can add a blank page. So it will add a blank page after this page, so it will be page 4 with a blank page. If I go to the top of my page, I click in front of my name, and I go to the cover page option. I'm in the Insert tab, and there is a way I can add a cover page. So I can choose a cover page. Now this is my first page, my cover page, and I can go in and type the document title and whatever I want. So this was my cover page, and then I come down to my second page and third page and so forth. Now let me show you a little bit about how to print envelopes and how to print labels from Word. So in the mailing section, there is an option to print envelopes. So if you only wanted to print one and you wanted to use your printer, so you just click it, and you can just type the address it will go into. You can type your address, like you'll be typing the whole address and everything, the name. And then you can go to the options, and you can choose the size of your envelope. If you look at the envelopes, they always have a size to them that you can pick here. And then all you have to do is print, and just make sure you put the envelope in the right place, the tray. Usually you will see on your printer there's a place where they have a symbol of the envelope and also showing you what direction to put it, and it will print the envelope for you. You can also print labels. So I can type anything I want here, like labels, and you can get those labels from the store. And you can, once you do that, you can go into the options, and you'll find different companies have different product numbers, and you can pick it because it will set up the page properly for you. If you wanted, you can actually print a business card in here with whatever information you wanted to type, and you see it says full page of same labels, so it will have it like that. Make sure you go to options, and I'm just going to stick with the Office Depot labels, and I'll just pick this product number right now. Click OK, and I'll just click on new document, and right there you see there's my business card set up, where I can go and I can even come and make changes I want, bold, italic, whatever, center it. Once I do that, then I'll have to copy it and paste it into other places. I haven't looked at it whether there's an automatic way to do this. Maybe they have made a way, I haven't seen it yet. So that's the way you create labels, and a quick way to make business cards. Just make sure you pick the right product number from the list. Just gonna close that. I'm just gonna pause the video for a second, and then I'm gonna type a few things because I want to show you that. I'm just gonna remove the show and hide. I'm gonna pause the video. While I pause the video, I just type these lines here, the testing citation 1, 2, 3, 4, because I want to talk about a new feature in 2007-2010 where it will create citations for you automatically. If you know what a citation is, it's like whenever you have some information in your research paper from a book or from the internet or from somewhere else, you want to cite it. You want to give credit to your source. Because that's the proper way of doing it, like especially if you're in college and you need to do research papers or any other papers. So this is really nice feature. So say this is my line, and it could be a paragraph and that you got from somewhere, or some numbers, some information that you wanted to cite. So say this is my first citation, and so I want to add something. So in the References tab, there is a section on citations. So I click on Insert Citation, Add New Source. Make sure your cursor is in the right place, and I can choose book, and I can type the author's name, put the title, what year it was published. If there is a city, most probably there might be, and the publisher, and I click OK. Now what it does is it automatically puts the information in the right format, and this is called APA format, American Psychological Association format of citations. I don't know how they came about it, but that's what the standard is in North America. And they have a list of different citations, so you have to check with your school, college, or whatever as to what kind of a formatting they want you to use. And the same thing appears, say on this line I wanted to put a citation for a website. So I go back here, add new source, and I choose website. And for the website, you have to provide more information, the name of the page and things like that. So I'm just going to enter all of that information. What year is it? Because with the website, you have to provide them with the date you accessed it, because things change all the time. And then at the end, you need to provide the actual URL, not just anything. So if it was abc.com slash blah 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 slash blah blah blah, you have to put that, the whole long thing. And I can click OK, and it puts the thing in order for you automatically. And you see, because there are two Joes, it automatically put a Doe J up here. And the same way you can keep on adding it. The good thing is, when I go to the last page, so I'm in the last page, and I want to add the bibliography up here automatically, all I have to do is I just go to the last page. If I didn't have one, I could just insert a new blank page. I already have one, so I can use this. So from references, I click here where it says bibliography, and I can choose the kind I want. If I pick this, you see it automatically puts the bibliography for me. And if I go back and I add some more citations, like say if I come here and I add a new citation for a book, so it will automatically update my list. So I click OK, it adds it here. I'm going to go to the last page. I click here and I say update, and it's added the new line. It's a really cool feature. Will help save a lot of time for a lot of people. And the good thing is you don't have to remember the proper way of doing this, because the way it is put up here, there's a whole formatting that you have to understand, that the last name comes first, and the year, title, the city it was published, and the publisher. So same thing with the internet, and it puts things in alphabetical order for you. So very nice feature. The next thing I want to talk about is the table of contents. So say if you had like a 100-page document, so you had like headings, and within headings you had subheadings, and within subheadings you could have sub-subheadings. So, and the table of contents is something that goes in the front of your document, which tells you on what page is the what section. So this is a really good feature which has been available in the past in 2003 too. All you have to do is all your main headings. So I've just created some main headings and subheadings. You highlight it from the Home tab. You call it heading 1 for the main headings. And for all your subheadings, you call it heading 2. So the same way, I'm going to go to main heading 2. I'm going to call it heading 1. Subheading 2, I'm going to call it heading 2. So that's the style you apply to it. And if you had a subheading, you can call it heading 3. So I'm just going to go to the next page, and this is my heading 3, which is the main one, so I give it heading 1. For the subheading, I call it heading 2, main heading, heading 1, subheading, heading 2. So now I'm going to go to the second page, and I'm going to insert a blank page in front of it. So after my cover page, I have a blank page now. And I'm going to insert my table of contents here. So I go to references, and there is the table of contents option here. And I can choose the style I want. So I can just pick this first one. And there it is. Right there. So it automatically puts the page number next to it. So you see whatever is on page 4, and it also added the bibliography. I didn't even know that. It added the bibliography for you. So that is table of contents. Now I'm just going to go ahead and introduce you to mail merge, and then if you look on the bottom part in the information of this video, you will see the link to the video which I've actually created for mail merge 2003, and which is pretty much the same once you initially start the mail merge. After that it's exactly the same. So I'm just gonna, doesn't matter where I am, it's gonna go to the end of the documents here, and in the mailing section there is a section here called mail merge, start mail merge. I click here and I choose step by step mail merge wizard. I click it, and now you see on the right hand side this section comes up, and from this point onwards everything is the same as in 2003. So if you want, you can look at my video for 2003. The link is on the bottom there, and you can just follow this and you can learn mail merge. I've talked about creating mail merge letters and also envelopes. It's a really good thing to know how you can send letters and envelopes to hundreds of people in a very short time, when your document and your letter is exactly the same for everybody. So it's like trying to send an invitation to a bunch of people, and you want to create a letter and print out the letter fast. You just have to write the letter one time, and then you can merge it with your contact list, and you will have your mail merge. The final thing I want to talk about in this video is how you can put password protection on your documents. So there are a couple of ways of doing it. When you are in the saving your file, so I'm click on save here, and in the saving option you will see an option here in tools, and within tools there is an option to save, and you can click under, I think, let me just show you an easier way rather than from here, tools, general options, and there is an option to password to open and password to modify. Password to open means people, even when they double click on the file, it will ask you for the password. Modify means they can read only, but to make any changes they will need to provide with a password so you can make changes to it. So you can do it as you are saving it, your document. So that's it for this video. If I think of something, I'll come back and make another video. Thanks for watching.